Hey everybody, alright, so here we are at week 34 and 2 days, because I'm a little behind, and I have had a week. I don't even know how to just dive into it, so that's what I'm going to do. Here we go, let's splash in. Okay, so last vlog I complained about my itchy abdomen, and I was talking about, stretch marks and I'd had some stretch marks and they never really itched much. They itched a little and then it got crazy and I couldn't stand it and blah, blah, blah. Well, I had my doctor's appointment that Thursday after I did the video. I went in and my stretch marks were red and raised. They looked like welts and the skin in between was all red and it looked awful. And so the doctor took one look at it and was like, ugh. And prescribed me a cream. Basically said that she thought my body was freaking out a little bit about being pregnant. That was it. That was all she said. So I was like, okay. So I go and get my prescription filled, and it's for a steroid cream, so that that can be dangerous when you're pregnant. As far along as I am, it's not as dangerous, but I still, limited amount, but I didn't feel totally comfortable with it. Whatever, used it a little bit. However, I kept getting itchier, everywhere, particularly on my feet. My feet were really, really itching, and I was just itchy. And then I started to get, my stomach started to look better, but I noticed that I had bumps and a rash all over my feet, and I was just kind of like, okay, what the heck? And then it was on my legs, and my hands didn't really get a rash, but they were itching so bad that I would wring them together like this to try to help, and then hives would pop up, and I was just like, something is wrong, right? And so I tried to just deal with it. I kind of put myself, not on bed rest, but whatever. Also because I'd been swollen and had stayed swollen, so I was kind of like, I need to get off my feet and just whatever. So I did, and my swelling went down. And it was still, my feet were still a little poofy, but it was more because of the rash, not actual swelling. So I was just like, oh my god, and I was miserable. I couldn't sleep. My husband went out and bought every anti-itch thing you can imagine. I was taking cool oatmeal baths because I didn't want warm water, and finally we started Googling for it, and we thought, well, maybe, I have that rash of pregnancy, the PUPS or whatever, but it's, 1% of women get that, so I was just like, I don't know what I have. So I couldn't stand it. And a side note, I am one of those people that I hate calling the doctor or going to the doctor when it's not a normal scheduled visit, but I was desperate. So on Monday morning, as soon as my doctor's office was open, I was calling and asking them to get me in, and they did. So I went in, and I was miserable, and got into the doctor's office, and was sitting there, and the doctor came in, and I showed her my feet, and I showed her my legs where the rash had spread, and told her, whatever about my hands, and she was just like this is look on her face like, oh my god, and she was like, yeah. She's like, this is not normal, because itching during pregnancy is normal. Your palms of your hands, your feet, your skin, everything can itch. It's actually normal. It's the hormones in your body, but this is a whole other level, you guys. And anyway, she took one look and she was concerned. So basically, to start summing it up, so that was my experience. That was my weekend. It's one of two things. It's either, and it's definitely one of these two things. So it's either PUPS, which is PUPPPS. I'm not even going to go into what that all stands for because blah. But I'll put a link about it to the sides. And that's a rash that is only during pregnancy. 1%, less than 1% of women get it. It's very rare. And it's basically the elevated hormones and estrogen and everything in your body, it's kind of like having an allergic reaction to that. That's not a great way to describe it, but that's a pretty good idea. See, even now I'm like itchy. Ugh. But anyway, so it's either that, and the only cure for PUPS is to have the baby. It doesn't hurt the baby. It doesn't hurt you, except that it makes you extremely uncomfortable, fatigued because you can't sleep. It's literally debilitating. It's so distracting. If you look it up online, people call it the worst rash you could ever have. And so I've never had a rash in my entire life. I mean, maybe when I was a baby, I don't remember. But I don't have anything to compare it to, so all I know is that it's awful, right? And so that's one thing. It's either that, which is what we're hoping, and or it's something called ICP, which is intrahepatic cholestasis of pregnancy. It's not good. That's not a good thing to have. Also, less than 1% of women get that, and it's a problem with your liver. Basically, it would be, if I have it, it would mean that my liver is not working right anymore. And the reason I'm itching is because bile and toxins kind of get into your skin because there's nowhere for them to be released. And it's very bad for the baby. It causes stillborn babies, and they usually recommend that you deliver by the beginning of your 38th week or risk losing the baby. It's very serious, so we're hoping it's not that. However, so here's why it's conflicting. A rash is not common with ICP. However, your skin is very sensitive and very itchy. So even if you're not noticing, you scratching it or even clothing or things like that can cause a rash to pop up. And it just so happens that that rash looks a lot like PUPS, so it's often misdiagnosed, which is bad. Another sign of ICP is having itchy palms, like very itchy palms, not like kind of the normal dry skin of pregnancy, and itchy soles in your feet. Well, that's where my itching's the worst, and there's no rash there. The only thing that happens is whenever I mess with it, hives will appear. Because, I mean, I'm literally messing with my skin, and I try not to, but it's just really hard. And what happens usually is I'll resist, and then I'll give in just a little bit, and then I just can't stop. You know, it's just, I really just don't even know how to describe it. It is just awful. So that's a sign of ICP. That's not a sign of PUPS. Also, with PUPS, the rash doesn't usually clear up until after you have the baby. Well, my rash has been clearing up. I'm just as itchy, but as long as I don't touch the skin, the rash is lightening. So, because of that, obviously a lot of concern. The test to check the levels of my liver takes about a week, so we're still waiting on that. Basically, this is what's going to happen. If it's PUPS, which hopefully it is, and I mean, it really looked like PUPS to me, right? So that's what I'm hoping. Then my doctor still really wanted to deliver me as soon as I was to term, which is in less than 3 weeks. It would be around September 8th. The thing is, there's a lot of controversy with that because some people feel like you're inducing or trying to have the baby early just for the comfort of the mother. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I really would rather not be induced. It's not part of my plan. But let me just say, like, okay, if it's PUPS, I'm going to play it by ear, and I feel like I'm handling it better now. It's more like, it's not like the itching's better, but I'm able to deal with it better, and if I stay distracted, that helps. And so, if I can handle it, I'd rather not be induced at 37 weeks. However, and like I said, there's controversy. Like, if you look it up, you'll see all these message boards where people are like, oh, how can you induce just for your comfort? But after having this, I would not begrudge anyone doing that. I mean, if you were to term, obviously if you were 32 weeks and you wanted to be induced for that, I'd be like, okay, hold on. But if you're to term and you consider it, I don't think you should be judged for that because it is just awful. Like I said, I want to try to not be induced. I'm going to try to deal with it. But I don't think you should judge people if that's what they decide to do, because until you've had it, which you probably haven't since it's so rare. So then in that case, you don't know. So really, you don't, can't really make a fair, case about it.